Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do a bit of a vlog. First one, I'm going to take you around to see what a typical market day looks like. There's a market happening, like a craft show, and I'm just going to take you along with me to show you how I set up and how I represent my business when I do these market days. So I just had a quick shower earlier and now I'm just trying to get ready. And I suppose while I get ready I could talk maybe a little bit more about my business. Okay, so I started LyfLyn Designs in 2016. No, it wasn't called LyfLyn Designs, it was just called LyfLyn. And at that time it wasn't really incorporated or, you know, like a real business. So the story behind it is I was in architecture school doing my master's and I was really going through like a tough time, depressed to be fair. Like you know, I guess I had everything that you think, you know, someone would be satisfied with. I just got like a 100% scholarship to do my master's. I was at a pretty good job, but somehow, like, I don't know whether it was the environment around me, it all didn't feel enough. And I felt like constantly under pressure because the university I was at, we would do trimesters, like 14 weeks, then have a 2-3 week break and then go back to uni. So you were constantly under so much pressure. And you know, I was working 2 days a week and at uni for the other 3. So it was all a bit much. Slowly I kind of went into like a really dark space. I was just like, I just felt so alone. I felt like I was fulfilling all my dreams, but I wasn't that happy. So basically I started making things and just, you know, going to, there's a particular craft store, I even forget the name, but picking up things like, you know, things to do like earring hooks and feathers and buttons and things like that. So I started making things, jewelry, like pendants. And then we also had a laser cut at uni, so I would take advantage of like the free slots and laser cut like acrylic or plywood jewelry. I'm going to show like some of the photos here of the stuff that I started out making. I remember there was a scribble collection. It was the first real collection that I did. And I had a Shopify shop actually for a bit. By doing that, it was kind of like a release, like using my creativity. I know I was doing architecture, but using my creativity in a way that made me money, but also it was just like little joys, and you'd see people buy your things and that would just make me happy. To be fair, it went on for maybe 6 months, and then after that I kind of closed it because I was going into my thesis, which is like a really tough time in your master's like course. It's like the big project, so I really didn't have time to make anymore. But I had a couple of pieces and the Etsy shop was still running. The Shopify shop was still running. So yeah, that was kind of like the beginning of it really. And then after that I was just really working and basically it kind of just died. I moved back to Uganda. I was still selling some of the pieces that I had left. That's when I actually started the Etsy shop, when I was in Uganda, because I had all these pieces left over and I was thinking, oh, these are good, you know, let me sell them. And people bought some of that as well. In 2019, once again, went through like a crazy, I remember like my parents found me having a panic attack because it was like this whole pressure of like, you just moved. Yes, I had a job. I'd made sure I secured a job before I moved. It was all just very uncertain, and yeah, so I was like, oh my goodness, is this the right decision? You know, I was in this relationship where I was kind of getting questioned a lot, and it also like messed with my confidence. So yeah, I went through like a bit of a panic attack. I felt like, you know, I was surrounded by the people I love, and that's why I wanted to come back. But at the same time, I just felt there was so much questioning. Like, why didn't you stay in Australia? You are on the path to, you know, getting residency, and are you sure you made the right decision? It was a lot. So I was like panicking quite a bit, and I went into a bit of a depression and decided to basically consult like a therapist. And you know, he kept telling me, you need to write these things down. Your mind is moving so quick, and since you don't have a release, so he's like, I want you to go get a notebook, write everything that you want to do, everything that you're thinking every morning. Wake up and, you know, write what you dreamt about. Get into that habit, and then you know, see if that helps. And you know, I'll see you every 2 weeks, that kind of thing. So that really did help. I guess in a way it was like my big introduction to journaling. You know, I'd been, I guess, doing a version of journaling, you know, all my life. I used to buy scrapbooks and notebooks and diaries, but this was really intentional, so I guess that was the big difference. And with that being like quite intentional, I learned so much, because there's so much that I let go of, and so much that I was able to now like go through and feel so much better. So it was really like some of the best advice I've ever got, is to just journal. But of course, because I'm like, you know, a bit geeky, I decided to do something different with it. Because obviously I was journaling, but also like, you know, my life had to go on. And another thing I found is that the more organized I was, you know, for my day, the less stressed out I would be. So what I did is I went into InDesign, which, you know, if you know, it's just like this software that people use to make like brochures and presentations and magazine spreads. Yeah, so I went into InDesign and made a layout for myself that I would follow. So the point was that it would have an area for journaling, and also like an area for like my checklists. So I feel like I can check off the things that I have to do, things that I have to delegate, follow up on, you know, like emails and things like that. So I went through like a couple of iterations until I got to a point where I was like comfortable with it. And basically, it's a bit bright. Basically I got to a point where I was like quite happy with it, and that's when I came up with, I guess, the daily planner. So every morning I would drive to work, because I would go very early. Most works to work 8 to 5. I used to work 7 to 4, because I just asked to work at that time because I did not want to ever be sitting in traffic for so long. And if I left my home, you know, to get to work by 8, I would be so frustrated by the time I got there. I guess that was one of the other things that I started to change about my lifestyle. That was the daily planner, which I'm going to show you what the spread looks like. But that was the beginning of it, and I really enjoyed using it for like maybe 3 months. And then, like, you know, the idea just struck, and I was like, why not make this thing for everyone? And I decided to get the money I had in my bank account and literally just go ahead and make the first batch. But you know, while I was doing that, I was thinking, okay, you could also, you know, not everyone is going to want to do this daily thing. So that's when I came up with also like the 3-in-1 planner. And then I was like, okay, and some people are just going to want to actually journal. So that was also like the beginning of the journal, the LyfLyn journal. So those were the first 3 products. I got my money, you know, reached out to like printing companies to do so many samples. You know, some of the first couple of samples were so disappointing, and I narrowed it down to 2 companies, and one of them like really gave it their all, and they were like, you know, they really showed that they wanted the work, and so I kind of gave it to that printing company. And also they were very good at communicating, so we never had any issues when it came to like, you know, choosing materials and finishes. So yeah, that was real good communication process. And so that was maybe like May 2019. And then like shortly after, like in June, I was like, you know what, I might as well incorporate this company. So obviously name search, LyfLyn, was all I had to change like my social media from like LyfLyn Jewelry to, I couldn't find LyfLyn on its own, like LYFLYN. So I decided to go with LyfLyn Designs, because you know, it's kind of like you're designing your life, I was still designing jewelry and little pieces here and there. So I decided to go with the designs, and well enough, it was available, the domain was available. So that was quite, I guess, the beginning of LyfLyn Designs in May 2019. We got it incorporated, but unfortunately the name LyfLyn was refused because, you know, because of LIFELINE. So it was apparently too close to that, which I thought was a bit silly. But anyway, we got incorporated under a different name, and we trade as LyfLyn Designs. That was, I guess, the beginning of the business. And in all honesty, I was scared. I hadn't done, you know, your typical things that people tell you, do market research, what. I literally just winged it. But as soon as I got even like the first 20 pieces done, they were sold out in maybe like a week and a half. So to me, that was like, wow, like, okay, because I was literally, at this point, I was just like walking into people's offices randomly. Like I went to my sister's office, and then like where I was, friends, and the things got sold out. So I started to like get excited, and you know, then I had to actually think about the business side of things, like how am I going to do this, how am I going to create awareness. I already had quite a bit of traffic on Instagram, so I decided to like continue with that route. And then like shortly after, I was like, okay, I need to create an online store, because I'm not going to have a physical store. I'm still working a 9 to 5 and I don't have time. But also I just like didn't see the purpose of a physical store, because you know, everyone's got a smartphone these days, almost everyone anyway. But also I guess that's kind of the market study that I did, that you know, anyone who's going to afford this product likely has a smartphone, they likely have a credit card, mobile money, things like that. So they will be able to like afford it, and they'll be able to buy online. So that was really the beginning of LyfLyn Designs. And ever since then, we have been going. So I've had like people help me out here and there. Like I had people, remember I had hired someone who was really good, I remember, at the beginning of 2020. But then of course COVID happened, the pandemic happened, and kind of had to let that go, because she wasn't able to work remotely. Also because I was now working from home, so a lot of the time I was able to do more, because I didn't have to waste that hour and a half, 2 hours, like, you know, driving across town. So I was able to gain that time back and dedicate it to the business. The pandemic, honestly, because we had really launched in maybe August 2019, was the official launch. And then we did a market, and this is why I like markets. We did a market in November 2019, which was the first point of people really getting to know about the product. And I was there and I was selling it, and my 2 best friends actually came and helped me out at the stall that time. So it was, I think that market was like one of the points where people were really touching base. But you also touch base with, you know, potential clients, one for clients for product design, but also people who genuinely are curious about the product and want to change their lifestyle. So that was the beginning of that. And in the end of 2019, I decided to do like a bit of a membership for people who are basically finding it really difficult to plan and journal and, you know, set goals. So do like monthly goal setting sessions, and every month there would be like a new workbook and exercise to go through just to better your life, whether it's about finances, whether it's about understanding how to navigate your career, how to show up consistently, topics like that. So I ran that for the whole of 2020, and it was quite beautiful, but it was so draining, so I decided this year to not do it. But I want to bring it back again because I know some of the people who are a result of that 1 year or couple of months of like mentorship are doing big things, and they keep, you know, they send me messages and they're like, oh my goodness, if it wasn't for this thing, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. That's encouraging for me. So yeah, I'm thinking about bringing it back. So I'm nearly ready. I just have to walk my dog and feed him before I leave. But basically what I do is I normally have everything packed and then take it to my car. Like half of it is in the car. Then last night I decided to add a couple more things, so I'm just going to take those shortly. But I think maybe the question is like, why a market? And really it's to do with, one, I get to touch base with some of my customers because they tend to show up for these things, and then, you know, they tell me whether the product is working well for them, what they would like differently. I know for the 3-in-1 planner, one of the things was, I wish there was room for more notes, so that's why we came up with the notes inserts. And you know, it's really good to get feedback from your customers because they tend to show up for these things, but also to advise them if they're not getting the most out of their product, how best they can do that. And also it's a really good basically starting point for conversations around wellness with new people and how they could incorporate the habit of journaling and planning into their regular schedule. So, you know, you meet people who are curious about, okay, how is this going to help me? And then you give them the, you know, appropriate advice and feedback. So, but also it's a really good social event. You get to see other small businesses. A lot of them are female-led, which is so fascinating. Like, women are working so hard in the streets, and I totally respect that. It's actually a good, you know, place. These markets are like really good places for like making those connections and networking. Time check, it's maybe 10 to 9. The market starts at 10, and ideally you're supposed to be there at 9. I don't live very far away. I'm going to the market at Motive, which is an industrial area. So yeah, I'm just going to start my day off. I packed my breakfast because I don't have time to sit and eat it. So I just made like a grilled cheese sandwich. Let me see if I can show you. I have a grilled cheese sandwich, and in here I have my coffee, and then this is my water. So yeah, I am here now. Just going to show you what the place is like, and yeah. So this is Motive. These are their offices. Used to be a warehouse, and they transformed it into like co-working spaces or something like that. So yeah, that's what the market is going to be. And I'm just getting the rest of my stuff, and then I go set up. Yesterday I did like a little test to see what I would like my setup to be like. So I'm just going to go try it out. That's a video of coming early. You get to try things out, see whether it will work, and then yeah. So this is the space. I was thinking it would go there or there, but I've got a new spot, so I'm just carrying all my stuff and then taking it. So I'm now in this container. Over here is where I'm going to set up. kind of whatever looks nice, but I like how it's rustic. So yeah, this is my main setup, and I'm just going to shoot as I set up. Everything from the sounding board, notebook, new journal, which is a children's journal, the curiosity journal, and everything. I'm just trying to figure out where to put the cards. Yeah, but so far, I mean, we're getting there. Look at that. Nice. We are getting there. I'm now just going to show you what the final setup looks like. The goal is to one day have like those awesome bookshelves that are transformable, so I can take them around to the different markets. But until then, this has to do baby steps. It's so funny, the other day I was having like a conversation with someone, and who they give me, whenever I have a conversation with this person, they sort of give off the vibe that it's as if they're like trying to say, oh, it looks like your business isn't thriving. They just keep saying that, which is a bit negative. I'm like, okay, you're going to come out of nowhere and just like assume something like that, and that's like a big assumption that's also not cool, because like as a new and growing or small business owner, you need as much encouragement as possible. So they kept saying things like, look, it looks like your business is not thriving. But the thing is, like, I take so much pride in the fact that, one, I've been able to go as far as I have, slowly by myself. Yes, I've got a few helping hands here and there, but with my own finances, I'm really proud of how far I've come, and how far the business has come. I think it's doing very well. People know the name, people recognize the logo, they know the purpose. You get people looking up to you like, I have your product, that's helped me so much. So I think that for me, that's the gratification that I get out of doing this. I'm going to walk around for a bit. I'm just exhausted from carrying things. But I'm going to walk around a bit and see how everyone else is going. I like the fact that I'm sort of at the entrance, but at the same time, people just will go towards the traffic. So let's see if this will be a hit or miss. What I've found in the past is that usually when people come to our store, it's because they've already been thinking about buying. You get a few brand new customers who buy right away, but usually they tend to sort of buy in the week following, and this is more like a showcase kind of day, so that they actually see the product and see if it will suit their needs. Most people rock up with 100K and they're trying to buy as much as possible, so sometimes it's not necessarily feasible for their wallets to just buy the one thing. Usually when people do come and buy, they've been thinking about doing it, and they brought their money specifically to buy the daily planner or the 3-in-1. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm thinking about doing a deal. I've already done the deal to put the earrings and the pendants on sale, so I'm trying to figure out a cool deal for the planners or the journals. Wish me luck. This is a beautiful Michelle. I'm pretending to be shy. She is a poet, a writer. She writes ebook online, so I'm going to leave the link so you can actually get her ebook. It's really, really good. These are the notebooks. I think they're so beautiful. And these are the
Just like the thing now.
these are so beautiful.